Good evening and welcome back to Naturally. We are back after our 2-week break. I've had my holidays and I'm fresh and ready to talk. And we're definitely going to be talking today because we have an amazing guest in the house tonight. Motivational speaker, Ace got talk. And he has got talk. So let's meet our wonderful, wonderful guest. Good evening, Ace.
How are you doing, sweetie?
I'm very, very good, thank you, Ace.
Thanks for having me.
We're very, very polite now. We were just about to kill each other previously, but yes.
Well, you wanted to kill me.
Not really, but you know what it is? We're both very, very powerful characters.
Definitely. And two Virgos as well.
Two Virgos as well, yes.
Yeah. And as I was just saying off camera, Virgos, that's the sign of the Virgo star sign is the Virgin. Yeah. So we deal with fertility.
Okay.
And all things pure.
And I'd also like to add to that, Virgo is the only female in the constellation.
Mad.
Yes, all powerful women. So you have to settle yourself today. So let's get started. I want to ask you a bit about your journey. So you are the winner of the World
Motivational Speaker Competition 2019, Ace Got Talk. And as a result of that, I shared the stage with one of the biggest names in motivational speaking, Eric Thomas. Me and him shared the same stage in May.
Yes.
You know, and this weekend I'll be joining Les Brown, Ace Got Talk, and Les Brown, the godfather in motivational speaking. I'll be joining him in London this weekend. So yeah, big things is going on in the motivational speaker world.
So one of the quotes that you say is, "You didn't choose motivational speaking chose you."
Definitely.
Explain that.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not going to knock them, that want to be motivational speakers, you know. But I believe the profession of motivation, I don't believe motivational speaking is a profession. Yeah. It's not something like you just decide you want to do, like being a plumber or a carpenter or an electrician. Motivational speaker has to be something that comes from within here. You have to have passion for genuinely wanting to help and inspire and uplift other people. And this is something that I've been doing for over a decade. Way before I even realised I was a motivational speaker, people have been calling me Mr. Motivator. But I didn't take them seriously. I was just doing my thing.
So you say for 10 years. So what did you do prior to your motivational speaking?
For the last decade, I've been a boxing coach / personal trainer. I've owned my own gym. I'm looking a bit skinny nowadays. I've lost bare weight. Them days they're done. Man's lost.
He's used the power of his mouth. The muscle.
I've lost all my muscle now. But for the last 10 years, I've been a personal trainer / boxing coach. And as you know, being a personal trainer and being a boxing coach, it's a lot of mental motivation. You know, pushing people mentally. So I didn't realize that every day I'm mentally motivating people, stimulating their minds, and you know, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you're Mr. Motivator," and I'm like, "Nah, I ain't a motivator. I'm a boxing coach." And you know, January this year, I decided to enter the World Motivational Speaker Competition. I went up against 35 professional speakers. I took the Motivational Speaker Competition as if it was a boxing match. Okay. So I went into fight camp and fight training just like a boxer would, but it was all about the mental discipline and building my mind. And honestly, I went into the competition knowing that I was going to beat everybody and knock out all my opponents. The full documentaries on my YouTube channel, you can check it out, Ace Got Talk. And the documentaries on there, me winning the World Motivational Speaker Competition. And there's another documentary after that of me sharing the stage with Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher.
So how did you? Okay, you a personal trainer, a boxing trainer, and obviously you had impact with people. But what made you take that step? Like, did you do anything in between? Because obviously you've entered the competition, like the world competition. You've got all these people, like professional speakers. Yeah. How did you? I mean, it's like a jump. Did one day you just woke up like, right, that's it, or was it like a build up? Did you start working towards it, or?
That's a brilliant question. It was a moment of contemplation where I actually started off with a Nelson Mandela quote. Okay. Yeah. And the quote, I'm going to paraphrase it because I get it wrong, but it goes by the there's no reward for playing small and living a life that more than the one that you're capable of living. Okay. So I was reading that quote and I analysed myself and where I was in my life, and I decided, what am I satisfied with the life I'm living? Have I fulfilled and achieved all the things I wanted to? And it's one of them questions, you've got to look yourself in the mirror and you've got to be honest. And I said to myself, although I've achieved a lot, there's some things I haven't achieved and there's all things I wanted to do. So I looked deep within myself, and I've always been a gifted speaker, but I've never really used my talent and my skill to its full potential.
Yeah.
So with that reflection, I realised that actually for the last 10 years, you have been publicly speaking, but in a different capacity, standing up teaching people, because I teach classes every day. So it was like making that transition and saying, well, actually you can use your current skills and use what you've got, but on a different level, on a different platform. So that was the transition. So entering the World Motivational Speak Competition was the start of that journey.
Okay.
And then obviously I won, and the winner is Ace Got Talk, Golden Mic champ. You know, boy, better know. So yeah, and like I said, after the win, literally as I received the golden mic, I said, motivation is a mission, not a competition. And that's what I've been on ever since. I've been on a mission to motivate and inspire. And as you know, I host my own Ace Got Talk show, which is the business, community, entrepreneur show. And at the moment, I'm focusing on motivating the community to be more entrepreneurial and more business-minded. Ace Got Talk, do the maths.
Yeah, because I was a guest on your show on Monday.
Yeah,
so
I had the
one
privilege,
hand washes the
one
other.
hand washes the other. High five. I had the privilege of interviewing this royal empress on the Ace Got Talk show, and like yourself, I think the reason why me and you connected is because I won the World Motivational Speaker competition, and you've been nominated for spoken word.
Best spoken word artist. I think it's quite funny because there's a lot of reflections, even though we are a bit like annoying brother and sister, the way that we seem to be arguing. But
our husband, our wife.
No. But there is a lot of similarities between us in the sense that you had your career with the boxing and you're doing that, and I was doing teaching.
So we're both teaching.
Both teaching. And then there was that kind of feeling of, have I achieved everything? There's a feeling of more. Yeah. And I didn't plan to become a poet. Yeah. It wasn't like, I'm going to go and be a spoken word artist. That's not what happened. Yeah. I wrote poetry for myself. Yeah, yeah. And then when I performed it, it just, like you, it's turned into its own entity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of similarities there. Definitely. There's definitely a lot of similarities. Definitely. So I think you are amazing. You are amazing. And I think I want to show the viewers some of your speech. I've got the documentary you were talking about. Okay. But I'm only going to show you a part of it. Okay. There's a really nice analogy that you use in there. The speech is called, is it chickens?
Eagles and Chickens.
Eagles and Chickens. Yeah. So I've taken that part of it. Yeah. And let's show the audience. Eagles and Chickens.
There was a farmer. And this farmer, he had an eagle's egg. And this farmer placed the eagle's egg in a nest with chicken eggs. This eagle hatched amongst chickens. So this eagle naturally thought he was a chicken. And he done everything chickens do. If you've seen chickens, their claws like that, they scratch around in the dirt. And worms. And they peck around. What chickens do for worms. And that's what this eagle was doing. This eagle was scratching around in the dirt for worms. And this eagle was pecking around in the dirt for worms. But the sad thing about this story is, every single day of this eagle's life, this eagle would look up in the sky, look at all the other eagles soaring in the sky. And this eagle wished he too could soar in the sky like all the other eagles. But because this eagle was placed in a net with chicken eggs and he hatched amongst chickens, nobody ever told this eagle that he was an eagle. He thought he was a chicken. Now, unfortunately, that can happen to the best of us at times. We can be in environments that are not conducive to success. The friends that we're around, the circles, the company we keep, it's not conducive to success. And sometimes we can be doing some chicken stuff. Now, before any animal activists, animal rights activists go to me, I love chicken, by the way. Right? Street, I love fried chicken, I love curry chicken, I love jerk chicken.
but I'm not a chicken. But what do we do? We're in that situation when we've got no one to validate our self-worth. The company that we're keeping, no one in that circle is going to tell us, you're not a chicken, you shouldn't be doing that. When you've got no parents, no mother, no father, no loved ones, no cousins, no aunties, no uncles, no good company around you to validate your self-worth. Because a lot of times we judge ourselves based on society's standards of us. We judge ourselves by what other people think of us, what other people say about us. We limit ourselves and we restrict ourselves based on what other people tell us we can and cannot do. You can't do that. You're not educated enough. You can't do that. You're too old. You can't do that. You ain't got enough money. We limit and restrict ourselves based on what everybody else has told us, everyone else's opinions of us, everyone else's views on us, their limits, their restrictions. What do we do in that situation when there's no one around to tell us or validate our self-worth, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody help that. What do we do? And how do we do that? You've got to look in the mirror. You've got to look in the mirror. You've got to look at the reflection of yourself. You've got to ask yourself a question. Forget what everyone else thinks of you. You've got to look in the mirror. You've got to ask yourself, is the reflection that I'm looking at, am I looking at a chicken? Or am I looking at an eagle? If you're looking at a chicken, then you carry on doing chicken stuff. If your answer is an eagle, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Einstein said it best. Einstein said talent is distributed evenly. And I don't know anybody in this room, but I know something about every single body in this room. I'll say it again. I don't know anybody in this room, but I know something about every single body in this room. None of you were born chickens. You're all born eagles. So what I want you to do, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to spread your wings. Yeah, start flying like an eagle. And be all you can be. I want to break down a couple of attributes of the eagle. The difference between an eagle and a chicken is this.
That was very, very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Thank you.
I love the analogy, and I like the part where you've got the eagle looking up in the sky and thinking, oh, I want to fly.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know your true power, and you haven't opened your eyes or your mind or your heart to the powers that you have. And it's about self-belief. Definitely. So that's brilliant. Very, very powerful.
That eagle and chicken story is packed with analogies. Packed. The material's written myself, and I wrote it in a way that everybody that's listening to it can take something from it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you are in your life. You can relate in some way, whether it be validation, because you know what it's like. Some people wait for their friends, their family to validate them. Whether it's self-worth, whether it's self-belief, there's so much in there. The way it's written that people can take from it and get lifted up. It's one of them those pieces. I would say that if you're feeling a little bit unconfident and you want that bit of motivation and that inspiration, listen to A. Scott talk Eagles and Chickens.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful speech.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
God
Bravo, King.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
And it obviously had the impact. So is that the speech that won you?
Yeah. That was the piece that I wrote to win the World Motivational Speak competition.
Was it rounds or?
Sorry?
Was it like rounds? Did you have to have heats, or how did it work?
Well, everyone had to do a 15-minute piece.
Okay.
And it was based on that. As a piece I used that one. I then done the same performance again on the stage with Eric Thomas, and then I've regurgitated that same piece because there's such a powerful message in it. I mean, I've been told that that piece should be played in schools, because if you're a child, I've got kids that have heard it and they keep going, oh, I'm an eagle, they're eagles and chickens. Even kids can relate to the analogy of, do I want to be an eagle, do I want to be a chicken? It's that inspirational. I've actually got something coming up 2020, Eagles and Hawks.
Ooh.
Yeah, because even though I use the analogy of eagles and chicken, I actually done a lot of research into both birds.
Yeah.
So a lot of the analogies I use is based on the characteristics of an eagle as opposed to the characteristics of a chicken. But you got some people that they're not necessarily chickens. Not all of us are chickens, but they haven't reached eagle yet. And it actually came about a friend of mine, Simply Divine. Her son, Simply Divine. Like, so she interviewed me, and her son, he loves the whole eagle with chicken things. Like, he's watched it. And one day he came up to me, and said, Ace, he goes, Ace, what's the difference between an eagle and a hawk? And it threw me back. Hey,
touch this mouth.
Yeah, that's what I said, slow down, little man.
Give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is eagles and chickens, right? This is eagles and chickens. But what it did, it was deep. I went and I studied. I said, I'm going to come back to you.
Power of a child, mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So, Simply Divine.
Simply Divine. Pick up yourself, pick up your son. But what happened is I studied the hawk because I needed to know. What is the difference between an eagle and a hawk? Because they're cousins.
Yeah.
They look the same. They're both birds of prey. They hunt very similar. So I'm saying, if they're cousins, mums are brothers and sisters. What makes this cousin have the edge over that cousin? Why is this cousin there?
The elegance of an eagle with a hawk. It's still got the negative connotation.
Yeah. I'm
interested to hear that. Is it ready? Can we get? I'm
gonna drop it 2020 on them.
Oh,
but
okay. Why we can't get a naturally preview?
Not a little preview. but the idea is to show you that what does the eagle have the edge over the hawk? And the things, when I start breaking it down, there are things that you will look at and think, right, that's a hawk. I see why he's only a hawk. That's an eagle. That's what the eagle does that's different from the hawk. Does it make sense? So I'm talking analogies. So Ace got taught, my signature piece is eagles and chickens, and I'm following that up with eagles and hawk. But the whole thing is you can take it and relate it to your own human experience and apply it into what you're doing.
You got to start thinking there's some pigeons out there too.
Yeah, some pigeons.
Some turkey.
Yeah.
The society we live in,
Yeah.
and it's about our state of mind, isn't it?
Definitely.
The degrees of spirituality and openness and drive and intuition. So and energy.
Definitely. Energy is important. And that's why one of the things I say when I'm talking about the whole eagle scenario is I say eagles fly at an altitude that's so high. Mm-hmm. The only other bird an eagle sees at the altitude he flies at is another eagle. And that's facts. Eagles don't fly at the same altitude as pigeons. They don't fly at the same altitude as ducks and geese. Eagles fly at altitude that's so high. They only see other eagles. And in life, when we're aspiring for greatness, that's where we're usually looking at that altitude. And with that, you've got to make certain sacrifices. That's why I say things like eagles don't fly in flocks. Because if you wait for the crowd and you wait for the flock, you might always be, you know what I mean? So it's got talk. Eagles and chickens.
I love it. Hey, so you've got talk.
It's got talk.
And you got help from little man, little Mr. Little Divine.
On the eagles and hawks,
But I love the idea.
Respect, man, respect.
Your slogan, do the math. Where does that come from?
Wow, that's a big one. So I tatted pi on the side of my arm.
Okay,
right?
So that's pi, the maths symbol.
Yeah, Pythagoras theory.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a mathematician and I'm fascinated with maths.
Ooh, I'm English.
Now I'm gonna hit them with the knowledge. Yeah. If you control the diameter of a man's knowledge, you control the circumference of his thinking. I'll slow it down.
Ooh, nice.
If you control the diameter of a man's knowledge, you control the circumference of his thinking. And then I hit it up, do the maths. So in school, I don't know if you remember, but they used to give us a little pencil, a little compass, with the point. You put the little point in and you draw the circle, right?
Yeah, and you can only go
right, and then you get the ruler, and then you measure from the center of the circle a diameter, and then you measure the diameter, and then you use the formula pi to work out the circumference. So do you get it?
Yeah.
Diameter, circumference.
Yeah, because it's like how far they think. If you can control how far they think,
right,
you're gonna have you're gonna have control the limits of his mind.
Yeah.
But if you let somebody, their thinking is infinite.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't stop them.
That's right. So do the maths. I bought the intellectual. I own the intellectual property rights to do the maths. Yeah. So please don't plagiarize that. That's my slogan. It's got to do the maths, and I use it usually when I'm making a very profound point, but I don't want to over elaborate.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to work it out.
You work it out. You bringing the horse to the water, but you can't always. You got
straws. You have to drink yourself.
You have to drink yourself. So I'll just lead you because it's got talk. I'm a thought provoker. You know, that's my thing.
Definitely that.
I'm a confidence builder. I've been confidence building for the last decade, but most importantly, I'm a thought provoker. So my thinking's so abstract. So sometimes it's too much to explain. So I'll just bring you in the right direction and just say, do the maths. And it's for you to sit down and do the calculations and find the formula. So that's where the whole do the maths thing come from.
And so then the next thing I want to talk about is your radio show. Obviously, I was the guest.
Yes.
On Monday.
Yes.
On your radio show, and I'm also part of your WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Which is also the business club.
Yeah.
And I love what I see within your group.
Man. Respect,
I love what I see within your group. I'm in a few WhatsApp groups, and sometimes it's very hard to actually engage with the group.
Man,
but I find your group, you do. I feel very welcomed within the group, and everybody kind of gels together, and you're helping to push. Everyone's helping to push each other. The brands. It's a lovely, lovely feeling within the group,
so much,
and I really do enjoy it.
Thank you so much. And you made a very interesting point there. Starting off with the radio show, then we'll talk about the WhatsApp group. The radio show it's a concept, and the concept, without giving away my backup plan, too much, the concept is about encouraging the community to do more business amongst each other, because especially within our community, we don't do enough business with each other. There's a lot of distrust there.
This is the truth.
So I started up a radio show 3 hours every Monday, A. Scott Talk Business Club, and I bring on young, professional entrepreneurs, people in the community leaders, anyone that's doing anything positive in the community. So with the community aspect, it might be people that are doing charitable works, people that are feeding the homeless.
A bit like Naturally,
Yeah, a bit like yourself. And then with the business entrepreneurial side, encouraging business and entrepreneurship by highlighting some of the businesses that you guys probably ain't even aware of exist, but there's so many talented individuals in our community doing amazing things within the business world. I wanted to highlight that, and we've extended that into a business club networking group. And like you said, you're part of that group, and like many other groups, you're just like a lost sheep. Your number, and it's just lots of
so many information, like filling up my storage.
Yeah, but
with
with our group, I've educated the members on how to effectively network so they can get the best out of each other. Because the thing about it is, they say everybody knows at least 1,000 people. And it seems a bit overwhelming when you think about it, but when you start actually calculating, I can get you to name me at least 500 people you know right now. If you start thinking about your family, then the man in the corner shop, and the office,
that you interact with.
But that's a network.
It's a network.
But we have to effectively network. We need to be networking through each other's networks.
Yes, it's about linking, and I found that since doing the poetry, my network has just grown.
Yes,
I'm working with this person, working with that person. Who do they know? And you just link. I met you because we were in Access. Access UK. That's how I saw you originally, and then I think you saw my stuff in that group, and then we connected, and it is about the network.
The network, and they say your network equals your net worth. Now, whether it's true or not, I like to say it. Your network equals your net worth.
Well, not yet.
Right?
I'm trying to get there. Yeah. My network's getting fat, but my pockets aren't quite there yet. But I'm getting there.
Yeah. But it's like when they say it's not sometimes what you know is who you know.
Yeah.
So networking is very important. I think that is something that is overlooked, the power of networking. And as I keep banging on about, I was part of the biggest networking group globally for many years, and this group has got hundreds of thousands of members. It's a very successful networking organization. They have chapters even in London. There's hundreds of chapters, and everything is monitored. So even the business that's passed between its members is monitored, so we can see how what's the monetary value of being part of this network. And the chapter I was part of, I was the secretary treasurer. So I sat there and counted the money. I did the maths. It's got to. I was the secretary treasurer. So I did the maths. And we passed £3.2 million worth of business amongst our members.
Wow, that's
amazing. It just goes to show the power of networking. So going back to the whole A. Scott Talk Business Community Entrepreneur Show, and going back to A. Scott Talk winning the World Motivational Speaker Competition, I won the World Motivational Speaker Competition, but I wanted to use that win and use my skills as a motivator to encourage people to do more and be more than the sum of their current circumstances. So the business world is where I'm at.
And I think it's brilliant. I thought there was a really nice story that you spoke about. I think it was yesterday. Was it this morning or yesterday morning?
The testimony?
Basically, somebody was using their WhatsApp status, and they're advertising everybody's different brand, and then there's the other nice story with the two drink manufacturers that have come together, and now they're helping each other to advertise. They're the kind of stories. It's like yesterday on the show, I did part of a poem. I'm actually going to perform that poem today, where I was talking about business.
The business poem.
And I'll perform it in a bit, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But it is about putting our community together and helping each other to climb, investing in our siblings.
Because I'm going to paraphrase you, but there's one point, there's a line you said in that poem, because I went home and I played it over and over again, and it sweet me, and I was upset you didn't get to finish, but it's only because the adverts.
But don't worry,
But there's a line where you talked about one
standing alone.
Yeah, go on.
Like a thread can be broke.
But go on.
But 1,000 threads.
We
call this a rope.
Man! I say that again.
One standing alone.
One standing alone.
Like a thread can be broke. But 1,000 threads, we call this a rope. One shouting in mayhem disappears like a match's smoke. But all shouting together causes enough smoke to choke. So it's about
networking.
Stand together.
Collectively.
If we're on our own, if it's one person standing there saying, oh yeah, they can get ran down, they can get broken. But if we stand together as a community and support and solidify each other, we can't be broken. A rope, we can climb, we can tie, we can do whatever. And one person screaming at the top of their voice, it disappears. But if we all stand and talk.
And I think we're coming from that generation straight that's just not having it. We're that generation. I'm sorry. It's that unapologetically man ain't having it generation. You understand? So, you know, where we see certain things or we're not too happy with, it's like, yo, we lick out against that. You know what I'm saying? And we just do it our way. You know, we're unapologetically. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love that.
Okay, so what I want to do is quickly, technician, I've got a little section from your show. I think you were talking to two young entrepreneurs. I got it from your YouTube page.
Okay.
I think a young man, Smooth, I can't remember. So we're going to see a few minutes of that just to see the vibe of your show and what you're talking about. And then after that, I am going to perform some of Stand Up and Be Counted.
Mad.
Technician, can we run the clip, please?
So important, that bond, man, woman and child. So big up yourself for that, my brother. You know what I mean? And on that note, right, I'm gonna introduce my first guest, the first guest to the studio. He goes by the name of K Smooths, and he started up a business called Need to Eat. And by man, Ace Got Talk, my show is an international show, you know. And international Ace. So my guests, they come from all over the UK. The recognition coach that was on earlier, he came down from Oxford. And I'm not going to talk your business and tell people where you're there, but you're another man who, your business is not a London-based business. It's a national business. And K Smooth has come down from country today to be on the Ace Got Talk show. It's a national, Ace Got Talk show is a national show. It's business, community and entrepreneur, but it's the national community. Yeah? Right? We soon start flying some guests, so I'm to them. But yeah, so K Smooth, tell us about your business, Need for Eat. Tell us all about it.
Well, I started it about 3 months ago. I've always had a passion for food and cooking.
Yes.
Because obviously, you know, the family and that, they like cook and that. And I was always that child in the kitchen watching. So I just thought up this idea and I thought, you know what? I'm in this area that's like kind of country. There's not enough like Caribbean shops out here. So I might as well start something. So I started it from home base. You know, I cook at home. And I get in touch with all the business companies around me and just take it out to them for their lunch. And then later on, like later on in the evenings, people call me up now for meals. You know what I mean? And then now it's just growing even more now, where everyone's talking about my wings, talking about my burrito wraps. Like, I'm just growing right now, and I'm just happy that it's just growing and people's actually recognizing what I'm doing.
Brilliant. Now, what I admire is I think that anybody that has the bravery to have a concept, an idea of a business that they want to do, and then actually take the steps to go out there and put themselves out there and say, this is what I'm doing. I admire that, I champion that, and that's what this show's about. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say you started this business 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And just tell us, what does the business look like at the moment?
It's booming. It's actually booming right now because the promotion that I've done for it, I've gone to all the business centres, I've got posters around, like people call me and ask me, well, are you working today? So I just know.
Okay, so that was a small part of A. Scott Talk. So I'm going to give you my poem now, so we can get that full poem that you didn't get to hear on the radio show. So this is part of a poem called Stand Up and Be Counted. I'm going to give you the first part and the second. There's so many issues that we must address. Without self-assessment, we'll never progress. Look inside and outside, review and reflect. What are our challenges? Let us inspect. First, our youth, our sacred divine. Teach them their roots, nurture their minds. We are the branches of family trees' vines. We cement our future by making them shine. Building respect and high self-esteem. Teach commitment and realism, but encourage them to dream. Let them aspire to create great things, not just be rappers or singers or in football teams. Don't let the matrix of YouTube TV be defining factors in their mentality. Harlem Spartans and Cardi B should not be the only role models that our children see. Media brainwashing blocks the third eye. If we don't pull them back, our consciousness will die. Spend time with your children. Know what makes them laugh. Ensure you're their guide as they walk their path. Instill them with values. Be their spiritual light. Be the voice that guides them when they're alone in the night. If we tend to our seeds and water our crops, we'll grow mighty jungles that nothing and no one can stop. Stand up and be counted. Be heard and be seen. Be the role models that our children need. Give, guide and nurture so they thrive and succeed. If we elevate and enlighten, a bright future's guaranteed. One standing alone, like a thread can be broke. But 1,000 threads, we call this a rope. One shouting in mayhem disappears like a match's smoke. But all shouting together causes enough smoke to choke. Together we are powerful, solid as a rock. Invest in black business, increase our stock. Black Panther, the first film to make $1 billion worldwide. We stand and shout Wakanda, crushing our chests with pride. We channeled our money into this fantasy. Well, now let's do the same for our reality. Invest in your siblings, plough and nurture our lands. We'll reap, sow and prosper if together we stand. Stop wasting your earnings on materialism and brands. The black pound is powerful. Let's pass hand to hand. Stop interracial hatred. Who wins when we fight? To achieve our true power, we must unite. Old and young, male and female, Africans, Caribbeans should stand as one now. If you're light as Samelina or mahogany skinned, realize we are all blessed with the same melanin. We should be standing together. Show love and respect. Reach out your hands. Link arms and connect. Stand up and be counted. Be heard and be seen. Like the great Dr. King, I too have a dream. Realize your true power. Unity is the theme. Melanin and ether adorn kings and queens. Thank you. That was Stand Up and Be Counted.
Mad.
So yeah, I thought that was a brilliant poem.
Brilliant.
For basically because what you're doing, that poem represents. It's
Definitely.
about pulling everybody together.
Definitely. And me and you were like-minded, so we understand the significance of the collective working as a collective.
Yes.
But I think it's very important that the listeners out at home understand that, because once again I'm gonna be generalized when I say this, but in our community we've got a very I'm alright mentality. Do you know what I mean? I'm alright. What's going on doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
When we need to stop thinking singularly and start thinking as a collective. And actually, if we work as a collective, we would move forward as a nation a lot quicker. Because everybody on this individualization business is crab in a barrel.
Yeah, and it's similar with our youth. That saying, it takes a
a community,
a village to raise a child,
Definitely.
and we've moved away from that.
Definitely.
And that's why there's so much disruption with our youth, because they haven't got that level of respect. People can't come up to you in the street now and say, yo, what you doing? You get told about yourself, whereas before it would have been...
Or worse still, you might even get stabbed.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that kind of leads us well onto our talking point. Because today's talking point, each week, I like to have a topic that we discuss, current affairs, issues, subjects, and we've done a few different things. But today's subject is something that I think we need to draw attention to.
Definitely.
And it's called county lines.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, county lines is when drug cartels, for example, will...
Oh, I don't know if they're cartels, drug dealers.
Drug dealers, well,
Yeah.
cartel, we couldn't, well...
Cartels.
But what they will argue is that basically it is almost like a cartel, because they build themselves into a business, like a business structure. So they start in, like, for example, in London, that will be the manufacturing. And then what they do is they go out to different counties with a phone line. So one person will go out, find some like drug users, create a line, get some customers, and then they'll find a house that they can move into. Once the house is set up, they will send what is usually young, vulnerable people to go and man those houses.
Yeah.
So that's why I say cartel, because it's not just one drug dealer on his own sitting there making his money. It becomes like a business.
Let me break it down. So, yeah.
Go on.
Go on. So we want to talk about county lines.
County lines,
Yeah. It's terrible what's going on out there with our youngsters. And what I have a big problem with, and I'm going to say it straight, is the fact that these so-called drug dealers are manipulating our young boys and girls and getting them mixed up in the whole drug trafficking trade. Now, I never had the best start off in life. You know, I got kicked out of my house when I was 15 years old. I spent 5 years sleeping on the streets of London in cardboard boxes, homeless. And I've lived a very colourful life, you know. But what I've seen over the last 2 decades is things have changed. The way that people conduct themselves is disgusting. There used to be a certain code, a certain respect.
What you wouldn't do, things you wouldn't do. Do you see what I mean?
It's got to. So even these modern day, and I say these modern day, these 2020 drug dealers, they're not to me drug dealers, because without glamorizing drug dealing, go back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a drug dealer was a drug dealer, right or wrong. He would go out and he would sell drugs. And the same, this county lines it's not just happened.
Not new, it's not new. It's been going on for years. But now it's got a name.
Yeah, for years, man. For years, man.
Man will go country.
Yeah, man's been going country.
Hustle up the money.
And hustling and making money and bringing that money back to London. But what has changed is these drug dealers have become cowards.
Yeah.
They're scared. Yeah. So rather than actually put the work in themselves and actually do it, they're now manipulating our youngsters, and a lot of it is done through bullying. Some of it's done through sexual exploitation. Some of it is done through fear and intimidation, and that doesn't make you a gangster in my eyes. It makes you a coward and a bully.
Exactly.
Straight. It's got talk. And anyone who's got a problem with it, you could come and see me. Yeah, anyone that's bullying anyone's children into selling drugs for them or sexually exploiting or manipulating our young men and women, you're a coward, you know. And once again, as a community, we have to come together collectively to stop this type of disrespectful, derogatory behaviour going on in our community, because there's no place for it in our community. Like I said, I'm not here to glorify drug dealing, and you know, there are a small margin, a small percentage of the community that will find themselves, for whatever reason, getting involved in criminal activity. But once you now decide that you're going to get involved in criminal activity only to manipulate and make money off young, vulnerable kids, you ain't a criminal. You're a bully, and we don't tolerate that. And parasite.
It's so sad, and the thing, it's not just in London, and it's not just within the black community. It's widespread. It's widespread. But that mentality that you're willing to, it's not even just manipulate. It's the bullying. It's like I've been doing a bit of reading about it, and obviously I work within the PRU system. I work with a lot of the kids. They do go out to county lines, and you hear like students getting stabbed, bullied. They're scared for their lives.
Yeah, I'm skirting over it when I talk about the sexual exploitation.
CSC,
it's quite graphic, you know, and I'm talking about a lot of this stuff is now being filmed. So if you don't cooperate, we've got now evidence that we will share on social media, we'll share with your family. So there's a lot of youngsters that are doing things in secret and in fear of them being exposed. And this stuff will be stomped out. It's going to take time and it's going to take the right interventions, but there are lots of hubs in the community that are working effortlessly round the clock to help support our young, vulnerable members of the community.
And it's quite sad, and a lot of the time, sometimes parents get a hard rap, but certain people are very vulnerable. Like there was an incident with my son where somebody tried to rob my son. It wasn't necessarily county lines, but he was working for a gang on the estate, and whoever he robbed, he had to come bring back the money to the group. And he tried to rob my son. My son didn't have it. We found out who he was, and we went and spoke to the mum. And I phoned the mum because I think that's what you need to do. We have to work within our community. So the first port of call was to try and speak to mum. But when I spoke to mum, it broke my heart what's actually going on within her household.
Yeah.
Because she's got, I think, 5 or 6 kids. He's one of the younger ones. She's on her own. She doesn't have a man within the house.
Yeah.
She's working all the hours to bring in money. And while she's out, her son is just out there. There will be times she'll leave him in the house. They will come to the house and take his phone.
Yeah.
She's ringing his phone and taking his phone and turning it off.
Yeah.
That there's no respect.
Yeah. This is a big problem. And whenever we start to brush on this, the first thing that happens is I've had a lot of conversations along this nature. And before I go any further, it's not a one size fits all. It's not. There's not going to be one solution that's going to solve the problem. There's loads of micro things that need to be done all at the same time. Right? But when we talk about single parent households, the first thing that happens is the fathers that are absent usually get shot down. Where's the fathers? Where's the fathers? And I take a lot of resentment to that because, like I said, it's not a one size fits all, and there are some whatless men out there who are not around and not supportive of the children that they brought into this world. But I can honestly say through first-hand experience and through over 10 years of working alongside the family court systems, alongside working with CAS officers and social workers, there's a lot of men that want to be in their children's lives. Okay, but the system, I'm talking the family court systems, CAS, social services, and all the systems that are in place to facilitate and make sure those fathers are a part of those children's lives, those systems actually work against the fathers, right? And for that reason, there are a lot of absent fathers at the moment that would want to be in their children's lives, but are not. So, do you understand where I'm coming from?
I actually know 2 guys that I'm speaking to who are in the process of fighting for their child, and the court dates keep getting changed. And there is, unfortunately, a lot of women that use the child to manipulate the situation. Don't get me wrong, there are men that do the same. There's a lot of manipulation that goes on within relationships. Yeah. But the priority should be the relationship with that child and their father. It shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't be about...
Definitely, definitely.
The relationship.
We have to understand, and I'm talking to my community in particular, we have to understand that these family court systems and these social workers and these CAS officers, they are not there to facilitate a stable family environment. If anything, they're agents, and their job is to destroy the family unit, and this is from a government level down. And it's not to go into no conspiracy theory thing, but let's just look at the law in this country. How many women have go to the government and say, look, I'm pregnant, I'm expecting a child, and you will get housed. You will get a house, a council
Not
flat.
these days.
Right? You'll get a council flat.
Maybe about 10 years ago. These days, mate.
But it's a common fact that you'll get housed. And
you get your benefits, certain security.
Yeah, but under the condition that the father does not stay under that roof.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So even that.
They can, but then the father has to be registered, and then the money is cut.
Well,
the
way the government facilitates and helps support a lot of mothers in this country, it supports them as long as they're single. When you're single and there's no partner, you get the house, you get the benefit, you get the support, you get the discounts. But the minute you you're a couple, there's nothing available.
Yeah,
you know?
I
So
agree with that.
I would argue that this country does not support family units by design. Design.
I mean, I'm not gonna fight against that. But I think with the county lines thing, I think it's something that we have to be aware of. I do have a short video that shows some of the signs to look out for, like if children are going missing, if they're turning up with like phones or clothes or money. So we really need to keep an eye out and know what the signs are.
Yeah, but can I just say something? In regards to the county line situation, going back to the fathers not being around, we need, I would say for our community, we need to start encouraging any single mother that's got kids and the father's not around to resume that relationship, get in touch with that father, facilitate some sort of contact, because I think that a lot of us turn the blind eye. And I could ask anybody watching this video, I bet you know at least one mother who's got children and the father's not around. Everybody knows somebody who's got, but how many people have actually gone and tried to help facilitate? You don't want to get in people's business, but I'm saying as a community, we need to start being concerned. It's just too accepted as the norm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I do think it's important that you maintain a relationship with your children's father. Like,
definitely.
However difficult, like I've got my children's father, it gets on my nerves sometimes, but you have to maintain it. That's their dad.
Definitely.
But then, like you say, like it's not a one rule for all.
Yeah.
And there are situations where men, on the counter, where men don't do enough and they don't do. So I think it has to be an effort for us to maintain the family. Men need to make sure they're stepping up and doing what they need to do. Women need to make sure that they're ensuring that the channels are open.
Yeah.
So that the family unit, even if it's not the family, mother and father together, it's still a family unit.
Definitely.
You're still family, even if the parents are separated.
Definitely.
And that's what we need to take away, that when a relationship breaks down, the unit breaks down. Yeah. And that's what we need to make sure we ensure we keep.
Definitely. I remember we talked about this on my show earlier on in the week. I don't know if it was you or...
I think it was Dion. But I heard it because I just got there.
Oh, you just got there when because Dion was Dion who mentioned the fact that she knows some women who will not let the father be in the child's life unless the father is financially contributing. And I made the counter point that, once again, this is something for the sisters at home. You need to stop looking at the brothers in terms of what can he financially do for me. Now, I'm not saying, let me make this clear, I'm not saying that man should not support their children. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if a man's firstly, you should always view that man as the father of my child. And as a father, he can offer so much more than just money. Does that make sense?
Like, yeah, I agree.
Mentorship, guidance, self-esteem,
role model, someone to look to, someone to talk to, someone to relate to. I agree with that. But I just want to push home that in support of single mothers, it's not always like county lines. It can happen to anybody, doesn't it? Sometimes both parents are there.
But statistically, the number of children that are getting involved in your county lines, your gangs, and all the rest of the stuff that comes with it, statistically, a large percentage of those children come from single parent backgrounds where the fathers are not present. And like I said, it's so easy to dismiss a father and say, because, just an example, the woman's bitter because the relationship didn't go right. It's so easy to dismiss that man out of the child's life because you have your own personal feelings towards the man, and you don't realize the damage that you're doing to that child psychologically from that young age growing up. And this is why these kids get to 15, 16 and they're unruly. And I'm saying,
but on the other side, I have to say, I've got to fight the women's corner. There are times where men don't do what they're supposed to be doing as well. Yeah. And in those situations, I still think it's important that you make sure that connection's there.
Definitely.
But sometimes the men are not stepping up to the plate, or they're not doing what they should be doing.
But I'm not referring to those men.
You're referring to the ones that want to be there,
want to be involved,
who are fighting.
But they can't be involved either because the woman's bitter, or because financially they can't afford to, and you shouldn't be able to afford to be a father, you know, because some women, well, if he's not putting his hand in his pocket and putting out money, you can't see your child. And I think all of these attitudes we need to stop, because these are the things that are breaking down the family units. You know, there are fathers that are not about because the women are bitter. There are fathers that are not about because he's not financially being supported. And some brothers just can't do at the moment, but they still want to be a part of their
they should. If they want to be there, they should be able to be there.
I'm talking to those sisters. And the last point I want to make just about the collective community. I've worked in the social care system, the childcare system, etc. And I've seen a lot of women.
This is a women bashing session, Ace.
No.
It feels like a women bashing session, Ace. But go on, make your point.
I'm just talking about the single parent dynamic, yeah. And once again, because I've studied it, you've got sometimes. I'm just talking generally. You have got some women who their mum, raised them with no man around. So because the mum raised them with no man, when they have kids, they're encouraged. They're encouraged. Let me land, and they've been told, I raised you with no man, so you don't need no man in your life. And I'm saying all of these
not encouraged. That's something. In fairness, that's something that my mum never told me to say that, but I grew up with a boy. In fairness to my dad, he was there.
No, but break it down.
In my mind, I might have thought he wasn't, but my dad was there. But I used to think I don't need a man until I go with my ex.
See what I mean?
Okay, but when I go with my ex. That was something that he said. That attitude has to change.
But so the point I just made is so.
That's what I'm saying. For me,
this is what I'm saying because I see it going on.
For me, I kind of thought a man's a bonus. That was a
man's a bonus
because I never had it.
And that's the mindset that needs to be changed.
I'm a right. But let me explain as well from my perspective. Growing up, where in my mind where I felt, because the truth is my dad was there. I felt that. You know, I was with my mum. My mum does everything, and so in my mind,
this is what I'm talking about.
My mind, that I was like, well, I can do it, but a part of that reality is, Ace. Sometimes for women, we are in the dynamics of society. We tend to be the nurturers. Financially, sometimes we're the front runners. There's a lot of things where the dynamics aren't how they should be, which damages the relationship as well. But personally, I agree that's the wrong attitude to have. It should be about being in the unit. A man is not a bonus. The children do need their dads. And I'm honest. I'm reflective. I'll put my hand up.
This is sweet because I made a powerful point by saying that.
Because that's my experience.
My point is that there's some women that if their mum raised them with no man around,
that they think it's the way forward.
That woman's conditioned to think, I don't need a man. And in your classic example by saying, I thought a man was a bonus. And then you have kids, and then you might not necessarily appreciate the value of that father being in your child's life. But then
there's certain experiences where, if, for example, I'm not going to be specific, but if I don't want to be in a relationship, and I don't want to be with you, I don't want to be in a relationship where a man will turn around and say, right, you wanted to be single, so be single then. I ain't giving you jack. And that attitude also has to change. Because if I'm saying that I'm not happy in a relationship and I'm not willing to stay with it, that doesn't mean I want you to be away from your kids. But then because I don't want to join in that relationship with you, you will withdraw your financial, you will withdraw your time, and you will withdraw the contact from the child. So sometimes that happens on the counter.
Yeah, but we're going...
But this is another story, we're going to run out of time. But I think, to summarise, what you're saying is we need to strengthen our family units and our community to ensure that these county line things don't happen. Because I think that same issue with my son, where the boy was threatening to rob him, and he said, if you don't give me, I'm going to stab you next time I see you. What happened is, I told Dad. Dad came, and he came to the community.
There you go.
He went to the elders. He made everybody know. And it's like, that boy that was robbing him, I still see him. I speak to him, and I try to raise him up. And now he's part of our community.
Right. And
but he lacks that somebody to do that for him. Yeah. You see what I mean?
And this is that's the point I'm making, that we need to embed this into our psyche, that no matter what, it's like me and you can have a baby tomorrow. Right. Not
gonna happen.
But look, even if it doesn't work out, we need to have that mentality that no matter what happens, we're going to be the best parents for that child possible.
Of course, and that's the way it should be.
And if everybody everybody had that blanket mentality, that is the start in terms of the collective, in terms of it takes a community to raise a child. Because whatever we know, it's always about the best interest of the child, rather than how you feel towards me.
Perfect. I think that's a very great part to end on. I just want to do some acknowledgements, and
you still didn't play my last video. You got one more, didn't you? You was going to play something, I think.
I was going to play the county lines, but we've run out of time. I think the talk was better than the video.
Yeah.
Even though I took time to make it, but it's fine.
Ace Got Talk. Follow me on all the socials. Share, subscribe, like. Ace Got Talk. Yeah.
Have you got any acknowledgements or thank yous that you would like to shout out to people?
Yeah, straight. Firstly, I just want to say all praise and due to the Most High, because without God, none of this would have been possible. You know, all praise, and yeah, I just want to thank the ancestors for constantly guiding me and protecting me, you know what I mean, and, you know, yeah, I'm just grateful to be here. I think in life, we worry too much about what we haven't got, but the secret to life is looking around you and being grateful for all what is currently in your life. So yeah, I just give God thanks, and I'm just happy to be here, man.
Beautiful. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. Like you said earlier, I've been nominated for Best Spoken Word Artist. Voting closes tomorrow. So I've been on a media campaign with my videos, and I've been getting so much support. And I've also been getting so much support for the show. People are contacting me and saying they're really, really touched and they're really, really enjoying the show. So thank you everybody who's been watching. Thanks everybody who's been voting for me.
Can I bang my socials before I go?
You may bang your socials.
So you can find me on YouTube. That's Ace Got Talk. Please share, subscribe to my channel. And you can also find me on Instagram, which is the same, Ace Got Talk. And you can also follow me on Facebook, which is Ace Ford, F-O-R-D. I just want to thank you for having me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. You know, it's been an amazing interview, so thank you.
Thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. Yeah, you're an amazing character, and you've got a very, very powerful mind. So it's been amazing talking to you. I should bang my socials because I never do that enough. So if you want to follow me, you'll follow me on Instagram at naturally _ poetic. So that's natural. My name is Natural Wright. I have natural hair. So Naturally came about as my brand, okay? So Naturally is my brand, and I'm Natural Wright. So you can find me at Naturally, natural, IE _ poetic, for my poetry and the show. And if you want to see some of my modelling, you can find me at Naturally _ beautiful. And please, everybody who's watching right now, pick up your phone. Yes, pick up your phone in your hand. Go to Google and put in the Poetry Awards, and there's a drop-down menu in the corner that says nominees. Look for Best Spoken Word Artist and vote for Natural Wright. This is last opportunity. This is the last push. I am a winner. I've already won. But to get the actual trophy, like my mate Ace over here, would be lovely. So please vote for me. We are going to close the show with my Poetry Awards video bio. So please enjoy. Please vote. Please tune in. Thank you so much, Ace, for coming.
Thank you so
and
much.
We will see you next week with an amazing show. So stay tuned to Naturally. Thank you. I am Natural Wright, and I was born to win. Poetry is the window to the kaleidoscope within. I've been nominated for Best Artist of Words That Are Spoke. But if I'm going to receive this accolade, I'm going to need your vote. I'm the beautiful poetic, my light and aura shine. My intuition's telling me that right now is my time. I believe that I can achieve, so please rest assured, I'll turn my dreams to reality if I win the Poetry Awards. Please vote for me. This is Natural Wright. See you on the 23rd of November.
And how does that work? As much as you can tell me, how does that work?
Well, I will go up there, me, got my buddy over there, we'll find one crackhead. I'll give them some rocks for some numbers.
Oh, for their users? Yeah. I see. Yeah, so that's just you're building up your contacts list in that area. So you'll go on a little day trip somewhere, say, right, find a crackhead, get help.
Once the area is established, and I know that, I'm making a nice amount, I will go out, leave the area, and I'll get kids to go up there.
And how much do you pay them?
Pay them like 300 a week.
So what sort of age?
From anywhere from 12 to like 15, 16.
How do you find these kids? Yeah, how do you recruit?
They need money. Mommy and daddy ain't got no money. So either they come to uncle. Uncle will send them out there, let them have a week, 2 weeks in boot camp, let them do what they have to do. They'll be happy with that money they get.
What's boot camp?
Boot camp. Outside of London.
Yeah.
Train them up.
So you go with them once. Introduce them to them.
I'll go with them once, show them how it works. Once they get the